Right, so it's the 24th of the April 2025. It's the second part of the day. I had to go to Sturminster Newton this morning because I wanted to take a picture of a signpost and I needed to colour in some patches because the only picture that came out basic also had smudge marks on it, so I'm not very happy about that. However, I have managed to improve it to a standard which is acceptable and wouldn't be noticeable even when you sort of zoom in. There might be some laptops that can see the colouring in, but there's not much I can do about that. The camera's got a problem, it can't help putting smudge marks all over the picture, so, but I have managed to clear it up the best I can. You're not going to get it any better than that anyway, even if you went to retake it. And finding a cloudy day or some form of cloud is almost impossible. There was about 2 hours of sunshine when I was out and I thought I'm not going to make it, but with a few seconds to spare I managed to get that picture. I did it regardless of the heavy traffic because the traffic flow was heavy, just like yesterday. Yesterday I was in a mood by it and I lost my temper a little bit because I had, the worstest hangover ever. So, but let's get on with today's second part of the day. Setups. So you have Croft & Sons van, yellow, white, grey, on point lorry, grey sexual car, dive-in van, city plumbing van, learner car, Hunts van, HTG van, grab lorry, Hunts again, buggies my way, OCU van, hydro equipped, J&J, Simply Serve van, AJN lorry, brown car, Bradfords, learner car, Wargraves van, X or YMF van, Dent Devils van, SMV van, Power van, 19 loud bikes trying to get in a stretch. Someone says getting beat up mentally ill. Penis Up's a loud bike. I've already mentioned that actually, I've got to skip all that, 19s in total. Burning occurs between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock while going back for a short period of time. Being busted Justin, not safe Justin, so drain smashed over. Plane above is the first setup going out this time around. Then there's a load of cars that stop me crossing, but I don't take much notice of the setups because I'm speaking to someone. Black, red car, paedophile cunt said, yellow sexual car with light on, red, grey, and a repeating scenario, black and blue, black, grey, white or whatever while walking on that road back there. And that's the only setups really, there hasn't been any problems. There's been a few nasty people I've walked into, but they haven't given me any trouble. Otherwise everything's pretty much okay, but I do have a lot of walking to do because I've got to go to the spa shop as well once I've sorted out what I needed, what I got to do and that, so I'm not going to be back till at least 10 o'clock tonight. So when I meet up with Peter in the garden later, assuming everything's good, because I have got a little bit of a headache, but it's nothing like it was yesterday. However, if it was to worsen and I have to go back and go to bed, I won't be very happy, but I don't think that's going to occur. Right, so there was 9 cars at the catalytic converter hot point, but what annoyed me in particular is when I started to come down this path. There's a sexual looking lady, aged roughly about 22 to 25 in that sort of area. She's sort of having an argument on the phone, saying she can't get sex and she wants sex. As she passed me, she said, "Come on, move, get out of the fucking way, you sicko." So she started that as she passed me. Right, so seagulls, birds and crows, etc. Oh, that's a sexy woman in that car. I'm not going to get that. That's basically like Britney Spears when she was in her early to mid-20s. In a grey car. Anyway, birds have been claiming that I've been with Amy Weston when I haven't. And you're not going to find anyone as sexy as Amy Weston was. Not at my age. We've got another problem because everyone's a single parent. I don't want a single parent, but people have told me I don't have to be a single parent. Right, I'm going to let this car go. We're on that road where you can have no more than 10 cars in the whole walk. Just 2 at the moment, or 3, but that the first one didn't occur until, I was still in the graveyard. I was come walking down as that occurred. Anyway, crows have been saying that I'm going to be sexually abused as a child in my next life. going to be shot dead, going to be knifed down, getting a break in, saying that there's no one left, and saying that there's going to be no one in your next life, and basically saying that you're going to be in agony and pain in your next life, and saying I'm going to the fire of hell, and claiming that I've had sex with people I've never had sex with, as I was saying, including Amy Weston, which I mentioned. So there's been quite a few animal voice sounds. It's been quite negative. God needs to verify the facts first. This is a problem. And obviously, I've had my wrists and I've had my throat cut when it comes to sexuality. The Bible's against me. If you go into Christianity, the Bible's against me. So, there's not much you can do about it. But, there's a car coming, so I've got to switch this off. I'll let you know what the setups are when we come to the roundabout. Right, so on the road where there's not usually more than 10 cars, there was only 6 cars, so it started off with me walking out the graveyard and seeing what's known as a really sexy type of lady. So it looks like Britney Spears when she's in her mid-20s, you know, a really sexy type, driving in a grey car. Then you had a black car and a couple of other cars, as I said. Reaching the roundabout, however, the setups are a little bit difficult to mention through words that are written on the side of the vehicle, so I'm going to have to explain it in better clarity. So they're making a Sadie Dando suggestion, basically, when I've never had sex with her. And also, they're digging with this Wayne business. Apart from that, and a couple of cars in a random order, doesn't seem to be that suggestive, like black and blue. We get past that. Then there's a couple of cars on the road where there can be 45 minutes and no people. One of the ladies in the grey car was another very sexual looking type of lady that looked very similar to the lady I saw several days ago when I got a sudden erection walking down this path I'm walking down now, which I've already mentioned. Like, she was a medium build, very smooth. Her shoulders were sort of patterned out with skin rather than seeing her bone. It's sort of like her skin type was sexual, because people that are medium to fat build don't usually have like a sexual looking type of skin. It's usually this negative, rough skin or raw looking skin, you know, where you have warts and stuff like that. But obviously this person in the car was a lot more sinister. You could see that. Got a serious looking face, definitely a single mother. Trying to find someone who's not a single mother, it's going to be extremely difficult. People are not allowing the age gap. People are getting much more racist about the colour of my skin when it comes to people online, especially since 2015 onwards, and obviously started moaning about the age from about 2010 onwards. So we've got too many problems. However, they've always moaned about age, but going back in the days of like 2006 when I was a very young man or whatever, the moaning about age wasn't a problem. It's just saying that you're not good enough. You're not. You look like you're a piece of shit, or stuff like that, or saying that they want someone who's like the druggy life community or the rough. You don't have that rough appearance and you don't look normal. We sort of got all that fucking shit that I was putting up with. I spent thousands and thousands on those dating sites and I give up just before I moved to Yeovil. So I started socialising more. But even socialising through time, I never come across anyone that's sexual looking or basic looking that's actually single. And a lot of the people that I can't take to, even they're in relationships. So, you know, it's almost impossible. And you can't get a prostitute because it's not the same in the UK as it is in other countries. They work as escorts, or, well, you get a choice given to you if you go to a different country. So if you want safe sex, you're looking at probably about a couple of grand. If you want raw sex or hardcore sex, which means you don't wear a johnny, then it can cost up to 4 grand or maybe more, depending. In this country, they don't give you no more than a blowjob, and also they're much more restricted, and they, you know, it's like that. So, but I'll leave it there. Right, so a woman is singing, "He's funny, adults," and said something else. can make out what it is. So I'm reaching the next section. Right, so it's one of the more heavier setup days. Tesco van, dark orange sexual car, 4 cars reversed out at me, a van has pulled up now. After that you had a bike only. Well, what else has happened? A couple of drain covers hit over, and I've forgotten what the other bit is. Right, so there's been about 13 more cars. It seems busier than usual. Abbury time now. Before that you had a Morris van, drains hit over, Lerner car timed, Crow Shag DAH, red car, and just very fast, and now more cars closed. Take into account I'm on a housing estate, and I've known this road, that's a black and now that's a blue, and there's a black there, I don't know what that's going to do. So yeah, usually it's not like this. It has been, but it's rare. Right, so you've had more drain covers hit over, a started car, a car reverses at me as I go to pass, a car reverses out of drive, and in an ascending order, same for the next 3 drives. Then there's 6 more started cars, 6 or 7 cars that pass over drain cover, Tesco's van, Hellier van, Sunken Trampolines van, black and blue white, and on the road of West Coker Road in Yeovil, it's just a row of traffic in a black and blue order with several motorbikes tying to an erection and 2 bikes. When I walk out of the shop, same sort of issue with the road. Obviously I wasn't taking much notice when I walked out of the shop. And out the roadway opposite the Spa shop, there's a row of about 15 cars, and they're all in a black and blue order, and red or white or black and blue, white, sick or whatever in that order. Anyway, initially 2 vans pull up 10 seconds before I pass, remaining started. Then there's a black and blue red Night Point van, Physio something van I think it is, and then in a period of about 3 minutes you had about 70 cars, with every roadway accounted for, mostly being stepped up or controlled when I reach those roads as I'm walking on the path. There was a further 9 started cars on top of that, and then the traffic flow to come to the 70 got very busy as I was reaching the end of the road area, and then I tried getting onto the path, which is the track I'm down now, sorry, not the path, the track, and there was a started car next to the track, and I was being choked out by the catalytic converter stench there. As I come onto this track, there's a person that walked past trying to sneeze in my face. There's also another dog walker, she was also trying to sneeze in my face, and she's aged about 80. Straight after that, because obviously I'm cursed and there's nothing you can do about it, there was yet a 3rd person that was trying to sneeze in my face in that order. Right, so I went to ring someone up, and I had to put the phone down because the setup's increased. I was on the road where there can be 45 minutes without a car, and there was 14 cars, which included 2 light blue sexual cars, an orange sexual car, an orange sexual, is it 1960s minibus type looking, with a big tyre on the front, sexual appearance, red and white cars and a black car in the mints. On the dead end part there's 2 cars, a grey car and a white car. Someone was trying to untangle the dog lead off of the hedge line. But when she was faced in that position, undoing the the dog lead from being tangled up, she did look very similar to this Lauren who works in Tesco's, which I mentioned on the sexual sun-cursed days. And considering it's been cloudy most of the day, they are doing it again, because there was 2 hours worth of sunshine earlier out when I was on the bus, and there's also been sunshine since I've been out this afternoon as well. So obviously this Lauren, just to update you, and I'll just go through it quickly because I'm not going to piss about with all this shit, because everybody knows what this is. Lauren is someone that fancied me, and she knew I was single, so I'd like a CD which I lean my writing pad on to write my problems when I go out. She fancied me, and she tried hinting, but every time she was hinting, it only occurred about 2 or 3 times, and then she started avoiding me because she thought I was Savan. And these people started on me and broke up this sort of connection if I tried to speak to her at the time it occurred. And eventually she got in a sexual relationship with someone called Mike, and this is someone that's threatened to smash me to fucking pieces. He's hard build, and that's the end of that. She became a single mother of 2 ginger haired boys, and if she saw me she'd just say I'm a sick bastard if I pass her. So it's gone the reverse, anything from fancying me to the reverse way around. That's because the way everyone's movement was controlled around me to occur when she was about to connect with me to make a suggestion, when I was struggling to know how to do it in the Tesco store. Anyway, there's a picture of a lookalike to her that's on a postcard, but initially it was on the internet in 2015, 2016. Brighter colour, not so colourful, not so dull in colour, and not so pretty as the actual postcard version. So this postcard has got a Lauren lookalike, or whatever her name is, Lauren, and she her legs are behind the clouds. She's got a sexy smooth body. It looks like she's in her early 20s, very similar to Britney Spears mixed with Kylie Minogue for facial looks mixed together, possibly. It's hard to describe how she looks. I need to get a picture, or find that actual postcard that shows that. She's doing like a sexy smile, so going sort of smile, stretching her body out in a sexual mode, and holding her hand down and stretching it down in a sexual way to imply she wants sex with this chap that's walking down the path, or the track should I say. And the sun's coming out of her hand on a cloudy, rainy day across the rest of the picture, except for the for what's being beamed down on that person walking down the path. Also, I was just gone out of my head, but that person that is walking down the path obviously is a younger person than me that's walking down the path. However, the clothing that they give that specific person walking down that path is much my age or older, and for facial appearance the chap had the similar facial appearance to my nose from a side angle when it came to that specific painting. But I didn't pick up the postcard and I didn't photograph it, and then it wasn't there, and obviously I forgot in the piece of paper that it was written on the name when I went back there to get the name of the artist when they sold out. And again 3 months later they treat me as a sad bastard when I went into that shop, and obviously I've not seen the painting since. So, but it's been reissued. She did say, the lady in the shop, that these are new postcards, so whatever, so it would have been new for 2023, saying that these had been they'd just been brought out, and that's how she managed to give me the name of the artist and remembers the picture from being in there. But the problem is, I spoke to the same person again 3 months later and she didn't know. Anyway, it's taken 5 minutes to explain that, so let's just say that when it comes to this Lauren curse, it needs to be replaced. Right, so the government hitting out the action very fucking heavy to trying to break the record with all the fucking setups. So we're very close. If there's another few cars, you go past about 5 cars, is record breaking for the amount of traffic. It's been in black, red, black and blue, sick, sexual white, fucking sick, Tesco van, penis up and bike timed, but before that the initial setup was timing a bike as I reached this road, and then obviously on the road that I just come out of now, there was 3 cars initially, which was a gun looking car, an orange American gun looking car going my way, and a black beastie looking car with sunken headlights, and then you had a bike timed to an erection my way before the bike timed. So obviously they need to do this because they want me taken to fucking pieces. They want to start trouble on sexuality, so that's why they're doing it. Right, so I've had to come off of that track and I've had to leave because of the setups. So firstly a person is trying to sneeze in my face, followed by a second person trying to sneeze in my face. Then there's a bike timed to an erection my way. That's right, on the 45-minute road where there should be doing it on purpose. They're stepping up this action for no fucking reason. So this road, there can be 45 minutes of no traffic, but it's always centred and controlled to be around me every time. They're doing it on purpose. The government are doing it on purpose, or the creator God's fucking fallen. Anyway, as I reach the 2 twin tracks that joins to one track, there's a bike timed in my direction out of both of those tracks, but one of the people that's on the bike has a baby in a sling in my direction. After that I'm sneezed at. Then there's a couple of rough people in my direction, but in my you know, with this rough accent, sort of giving it some, talking in rough accent as, you know, hitting headline, you know, sort of as I getting my, you know, getting a bit beefy, you know, sort of getting nasty about it. So at that point I turn around. As I turn around, someone's walking behind towards me in the direction I turn around, and that person coughs in my direction. Then there's another person trying to sneeze in my face, and then on the phone there's the bloke that wanted to smash me out being timed, which happened about a month or so ago. In the starting period of when the sexual cursed setups began in a positive suggesting way. Well, that's all ended, all these apart from last night where there's a few. They make, sometimes I think they're doing it deliberately to make it look like they're not causing it, but nothing's coming of it. So when it comes to sexuality, although they're suggesting that it's your lucky night or anything like that, or that you're going to get sex tonight or whatever, nothing comes of it. It's all made up. They're trying to set this up for no reason at all. They're trying to make it sound good while being nasty with setups at the same time, and sneakily, but they know that nothing's going to happen, so they're trying to convince me that I'm going to get sex. Right, for the last 20 minutes I've been trying to do a recording that's only about 5 minutes long, if that, but the problem is people keep walking in my direction and I haven't even written down the stuff, and it has caused me to forget some of the information of the setups that have occurred. Right, so obviously, like I said, there's a specific road where you can have 45 minutes of traffic. The traffic that's on that road is only being built up and constructed around me when I'm on the road, with about 1 car, now and again, if ever, that occurs when I'm not on that road. So, since November last year, they are timing or controlling everyone's movement to be as hectic, to be as heavy, and as busy as they can shit stir this fucking action around me. And this is why people are starting on me, giving me threats. Someone earlier today at the bus station said he was going to smash me out, so I got a bit nasty. I said, well, if we're going into a fight then, I'll cut your fucking wrist and throat. It can be a fucking serious one. That's a fucking fight, mate. I got a little bit nasty, and I said it sarcastically, but not to him. I was doing it like in a recording, but making it clear that I was not very bloody happy, because people are just saying they're going to fucking smash me to pieces and keep on giving me shit on sexuality. The problem is, on sexuality, the only sex I've had in my whole life is basically being sexually abused as a child. Otherwise I've had nothing at all. But people think I've been in relationships, they think I'm a single father that's raped my children when I don't have children because I've never been a father. You know, and everything else. It's kicking off of all that shit. But anyway, let's get with the fucking setups on the road, because what happened was I lost my camera and I had to go back and get it. But it fell out of my pocket when I went down that track, and I had to get it before someone else picked it up, and luckily I did. I managed to find it, and it still works. Obviously it's got scratches on the lens and pictures won't be very good when I take pictures, but it's mostly for taking pictures of setups or stuff like that. So let me give you the setups walking back. Well, so there's there's two bikes. So there's a bike that's tied to an erection on that road, the road where you can have 45 minutes with no traffic, followed by a bike towing something that has a wanking mechanism, making the bike look like it's masturbating as it passes, which is a 3-wheel bike with like one of those sort of trailer things. So after that, the road suddenly becomes busy and you have about 15 cars. So I have to battle through that. And at one stage it included black and blue, white and sick colour car. As I reached the next bit of road, you had a 1960s car which looks very similar, if not the same, as the yellowy black car, whatever colour it was, of the racing car that Patrick McGowan is in the Prisoner series, when they start the series with the intro on the Prisoner series. So it's Patrick McGowan starring in the Prisoner, and it's a 1960s series that was shown on TV back in the 1990s, and I've seen those. I've seen it. Well, the car that he's driving around in is exactly the same car that was timed, except it's just black, this specific car. Right, so after that you had a 44 van, which is actually my age, in just over 6 months. Yeah, I'm aging very fast and I still not had sex in my life, making it even worse, making it more difficult, meaning I've been fucking hanged big time. This is why I'm going to get fucking nasty if I don't get anyone soon. So after that you had Up the Age van, Schick Baxter van, SHK Baxter van, Grannies for You bus. There's 2 of those, so they're like day trip vehicles where grannies pay a certain company and they go on day trips, you know, organise a time when they all go together to places or whatever on these Granny for You buses. There's 2. There's a Granny for You and there's also Grannies for You. So they're both spelled the same way. So it's Granny and then the number 4 and then the letter U for both companies, except one is Granny and the other one is Grannies. After that, Lisa's van. What happened after that? Zimmer frames in heaven. So it's like Zimmer frames were in behind a blue sky type picture, which is some form of mobility van that specialises in selling batteries, scooters, mobility chairs, Zimmer frames and all that sort of stuff. After that there was a black and blue car, Think Bike van. So it's a bike company van that just says Think Bike. The next 2 vehicles I can't mention the names of because it will offend my father. Both of the names on these vehicles are bad suggestions, so I'm just going to leave that off. Take into account I've not crossed the road yet. They are really, they're really stepping up this action. So obviously I go to think about taking a picture, but then I realise I don't have my camera on me when these vehicles pass, and that's what I'm going out to get now. So even if I did have my camera on me, initially I went to go towards there because I forgot. It just went out my head that that's the reason I'm going back there, to get my camera. But it went out my head and I went to go and cross to try and get the camera out of my pocket. Then I realised I didn't have my camera in my pocket. But even though I didn't have my camera in the pocket, they timed a load of traffic to come up my way to stop me crossing the road, even for that little bit, or to block me from taking a picture of those vehicles that just passed. So if I did have a camera on me, they would have stopped me getting those pictures by controlling 3 vehicles to come up the road where the 15 cars had just passed. And then after, I managed to make it across the road. When I go down the track, Like last time when I went down there, they had to time someone to cough in my direction. So you had that, and a person about 10 foot away from me does 3 sneezes as she's walking towards me. I had to stop the recording because Pete, my neighbour, was wondering when I was going to come out and see him in the garden. So I can't answer that question myself because I don't know myself yet, but it'll be sometime later, hopefully. I do have a bit of a headache, mind, so you know, I'm hoping it'll go as soon as I have that drink later. It usually does, so it should be all okay. Right, so anyway, going back to the path. After that, I go down the path which I initially went down, and there's a bike tied to an erection. At this stage I pick up the camera, and luckily it was still there, even with these people that have gone down that path, and it's on display where anyone could have picked it up, so I'm bloody lucky there. Anyway, as I go back in the other direction towards the road, firstly there's 2 bikes timed in my direction, tied to an erection, up the track, and then one of those bikes needs to come up the track I'm going up, so I have to move to get past. Then there's no more setups on that track until I reach the road. As I reach the road, grey sexual car, grey car, white, blue car, black car, and 3 grey cars. After that, there's a red car, and then there's a funeral car. Straight after that, you have a Smiles van, which used to be named Smiles All Around, but there's also another Smiles All Around van, which you don't see much anymore, and that's the one that's like an orange colour, yellow writing vehicle. Right, so obviously at this stage I go to check my camera out, check it out, and I get ready to photograph any evidence that I need to get. But unfortunately after that the road kind of went quiet, and I made it to the road where there's 45 minutes and no traffic usually, where there was 3 grey cars in my direction followed by a red car from behind in just a few seconds, and then it takes you to where I am now basically, and the last 25 minutes there's been no cars at all on that road. Right, so I've just reached the road and I've got to go back in the field a minute. So there's been a Rapture Dream t-shirt, followed by a Turner van, and a grey car, and whatever the car is that passed just before I pushed record on here and started to walk back onto the track. So I just want to mention, when it comes to Rapture Dreams, I knew about this since 2021. Before that time I didn't have a clue. I never knew what a Rapture Dream was. It's known as a vision, or a Jesus Christ encounter, visitation, or whatever you want to call it. And these children have said that they found their girlfriends and boyfriends where Jesus Christ has linked the 2 together as children, who are now in sexual relationships as children, because Jesus Christ has given guidance through suggestions of however it is being suggested. But there's one specific documentary of an 11-year-old girl that finds her boyfriend, who's age 13, which Jesus Christ linked up, and they were both Christians and they both read the Bible, and they never knew each other, and they were in different parts of the different parts of the world, or different parts of the country, or whatever it was, and where Jesus Christ gave both of these 2 people rapture dreams, they actually linked those 2 people up and they got in a sexual relationship. Going back to some of the issues of me going to the church, every time I was going to the church, just before I moved to Yeovil and up until 2022ish, 2023, where I started to lose faith because the Bible was going against me, or sexuality and people age 35 saying they're not supposed to look at stuff of ladies aged 35 or under, so I ripped the Bible up. And I thought, well, God's not going to fucking help me. And even Tim, he didn't realise I was 10 years on top of the age he thought I was when he saw me. And he said he had to wait until he was 31 or something like that before Jesus let him have someone. He says, but when he found out what my age is and I'm still looking, he just tells me, maybe in your next life you'll find her. And I sort of, I thought, no, that's not a good answer. And obviously when I first saw him, he's saying that the Bible tells people that people should work. And you think to yourself, well, you haven't seen my life. Obviously he knows a bit about my life now, but he didn't know nothing about me at the time, you know. So he just thought I was a regular person that could, you know, and that the Bible tells you should work, you should help your neighbour, you should. And but the problem is, when it comes to sexual relationships or anything like that, God's turned. There's nothing you can do at 44 years of age. No one will allow the age gap, and it's going to have to be a fucking big age gap now, because everybody's a single mother in my age, and I don't want to go with someone that's been pregnated or where mistakes have been made. And why should I be told to go with a stale piece of shit or an ugly piece of shit when I've not had anyone in my whole life? And to go with someone twice the age of people that sexually abused me as a child, if not over twice the age of someone that sexually abused me as a child, for first ever sexual relationship. You can't treat people like this, and that's why I'm not very happy about it, because I'm not accepting that. I'm not saying it has to be someone younger, but you haven't got a smooth attraction in my age group. In actual fact, most of the people in my age group, when it comes to the age of 44, look identical to an old granny, and I don't take to that type of attraction. There's no smooth skin, it's like rough skin. Some actually look like a granny, literally do look like grannies. This is where I've had my wrists and throat sliced. This is where Jesus made the biggest mistake of slicing just in time's wrist and fucking hanging time, Mr. Time, serve time, just in time, live up to your name, time. So yeah, I'm a little bit pissed off about that. I don't know whether it can be, I don't know whether anybody can help me anymore. I don't think it's possible. The problem is, when I'm born again, I'll have to be sexually abused as a child, with Jesus raping the guts in and out of me as a child, sex sucking the guts in and out of me as a, you know, forcing me to enjoy being sexually abused as a child again in my next life. And then if you go to a past life clairvoyant reading that I had 15 plus years ago, she was saying I was sexually abused in my previous life, and that this man was enjoying my little fanny as a little blonde girl and fucking the guts in and out of me as a child, but there's nothing you can do about it. And then obviously when I was working in a laboratory as a lady in my last life, because I was a lady in my last life apparently, and I was told that I died tragically at the age of something like 22, but I can't remember what the age is. However, the clairvoyant did say that I was quite a good looking lady that men would have taken to in my previous life. But like I said, God's hanging me in every life, the bastard's fallen, and this is why I've got nasty and started the deep depression life story packs or whatever in 2002, and this is why I state my problems. All of this, and if I had sex back at the time, or sex now, these deep depression sheets wouldn't have ever existed, and me photographing problems in the street would never existed. Me moaning about trouble, or me being in a mood, or writing stuff down, audio recording people, would not exist. But because I've never had anyone, even 15 years ago I was telling a doctor to make things change. I'm not saying that it has to be the most sexiest person in the world, but it's going to have to be someone that I can fancy and enjoy sex with smooth skin. And he says everybody's entitled to what they want, sort of. So he did have some sympathy, to some extent. But the thing is, this goes back 15 years ago, and I was saying, and he was like backchatting me slightly, saying, but we can't guarantee this. If you did get a partner, that you would stop doing this. So I told him, yes, I would. I wouldn't be. I said, it's on sexuality. I'm writing all these problems down when I go out, or photographing problems in the street, or moaning about threats. I just let it pass, or would ignore it, or I'd be a lot more tolerable to it if I had someone. But the problem is, it's too late. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. So that's the best it gets, unfortunately. Anyway, going back to these rapture dreams, and the church. Initially what happened was I started going to the church in 2021 at Barrow before I moved to Thorn House, and then as I moved, my life got worse. I was going to the church. People were about to attack me, and animals are going to kill him. He's a rapist, and saying he's a murderer, and saying this, causing animal voice sounds to tell my enemies to attack me while going to the church or coming back from church, and going, ha ha ha, while in church praying, a loud bike will go, and a seagull or crow go, ha ha ha, and this loud bike, Justin, ha ha ha, be, time to an erection or whatever. And when you're praying to God, you've got like a feeling of something that's trying to push you down a slide. It's not like an abyss opening up where you want to fall and just drop down. This feels like it's sloped. It feels like something wants to push you under, but it wants to do it in a sloped way. Not so much like an abyss where you just want to fall downwards, where you sort of close your eyes and look downwards and feel like you're falling downwards. This is like a physical, spiritual feeling. And one thing that really pissed me off is I didn't know that they were trying to sort of make me a Christian. That back in 2022, the beginning of 2022, and they said, have you accepted Christ into your life? And I said yes. This was back just before just under a couple of months before I started to change my faith. And it's rapidly changed after that when we came into 2023. So when I go to the church now, I just go for the pleasure of it, and just to see if there's anyone single, for a bit of entertainment in the morning if I'm bored or whatever. But I won't sing or I won't do that, because God doesn't do nothing. God's never helped me. In fact, my life's got a lot worse since I've gone to church, and God's caused me to end up in situations where I've nearly been attacked and murdered. So I think if God's going to do that, then you fucking forget it. So I only choose if I go there anymore where I go to. I'm not religious. But anyway, they told me you're now a Christian. So at the time I said thank you, it's good. But also at the time it was like a negative, nasty, evil entity that was around me that felt really nasty. So that was interesting. So obviously I did a video to tell people how do you become a non-Christian if you've been christened. So it's as simple as this. All you do is you go on a pew, you pray, and you say, Jesus no, and that's the end of it. You're then disconnected from God, and then you're free to go do whatever you like, any religion, if you want to go to a religion, or just go back to the way you are. And God should have no communication. He should not do nothing to you. He should not do this. And it should be as simple as that. If you just say Jesus no, it's all over. So not many people are going to do that, obviously, because they prefer Jesus, but that's all you have to say, Jesus no. I can say it now, Jesus no, and then you're disconnected from God, and then you can choose a different God or become non-religious, and there should be no connections. So if there's any spiritual activity that wants to take you to hell or heaven after death, you'll be left alone, because when you say Jesus no, nothing can attack you, nothing can take hold of you, because they have no permission to. But anyway, going back to the rapture dreams that I saw on YouTube, I tried contacting some of the younger ladies to see if they're single, but they just insult me, make it sound like I'm a sick bastard, or laugh holding a baby up, they're holding their baby up from where they become pregnant, or make it sound like you're a real sick bastard doing it in a stupid spastic type of way. And in some cases there's been suggestions of violence, and these are Christian types of people. And Christians and Jehovah's Witnesses also say that you're not going to get anyone, or they've even reported me for certain things, and the church has reported me to the police as well for videotaping. Well, not videotaping. Well, I was filming the stairs going up because they're old-fashioned stairs at church, and they had like the spiral stairs, and I wanted to do the filming. And as I was coming down filming, these two people were timed at the loo. So I put it on YouTube as been disrupted on the video, and it got saw by someone who goes to the church, and they reported it to the commissioner and also informed the police. And I thought, well, that's the way the church treats you. And this is after I left, after I became non-religious, which is from 2023 onwards, so late 2023 onwards. So anyway, also going back to these people, like these Christians, I asked them if they can help me for sexual relationships, in that if God's people can help, and they just say no, you have to pray to Jesus. They keep on putting you onto Jesus Christ, and I find out later on a conspiracy that Jesus Christ is really the devil. However, that can't be confirmed, so there are many speculations, and there's a lot of stuff, there's a load of rubbish on YouTube. Either way, for experience, because of the life that I have seems to worsen when I go to the church, or all these bad things happen, like items break or things fuck up, you end up walking into trouble, people starting on you, the setups increase. Always when you go to church or do anything that's religious, when it comes to Jesus Christ, Yahweh, Jah, Yah, Allah, Jehovah or Yahweh or whatever. So that's why I'm not religious. And also the animal voice sounds will increase and get nastier as well, and tell people to destroy me or kill me. So it does make sense why I don't go to church unless I feel up to it, just for a bit of entertainment purposes. There's something else I want to mention. They timed that rapture dream, or something like that, similar suggestion going back a couple of weeks ago, and I think they timed a Turner's tank or Turner's van at the top of this road track I'm at, or something like that. But basically what they were saying or applying is that these people that have rapture dreams are turned against you, or these females or adults or girls or whatever you want to call it, they all don't like you, the whole lot of them. So basically they're saying that, I think it was the same day they timed the cost cutter van with the wristwatch van. They've done that again recently, but that first time it occurred, I think when it occurred 2 weeks ago. So that's interesting, because they're trying to say that these people that are religious don't like you, which is true. There's only family, friends and relatives that care about people. When it comes to Christians, they're not going to help you find a sexual relationship. You're quite simply going to have to struggle. Now, I've been trying to find people since 2003, but the problem is there's never anybody who is available. And 2003 or 2004 was the last time period I knew anyone that was available, where it didn't mean going into rough people, but the people that I knew didn't like me and didn't want a sexual relationship with me, or didn't want to have sex with me. So, and all the other types of people were quite literally all rough people. And then since about 2004, 2005, nobody's available anywhere. Everybody's in a sexual relationship, no matter who it is. So, it's not possible. But when it comes to Christians, they turn the other cheek. They're not going to help you. All they're interested in is getting people into the Bible, into worshipping Jesus Christ, and then they leave it to Jesus. That's their answer. So if you're sort of that's what they do. That's the way they leave it. Same with the Jehovah's Witnesses. They say they're not going to find anyone that's single in our congregation, but if you worship Jehovah might help you, and if he can't help you in this life, he might help you in your next life. Well, it's a little bit late in your next life, isn't it? Because if you've been sexually abused and not had any sex in this life, and all in the same has happened in your last life, and when you're born again in your next life it has to happen again, that's triple murder, triple blue murder on sexual grounds. But there's nothing you can do about it, because everyone's in a sexual relationship. And since the smartphone network has come out, people are not willing to make friendship with people that, unless they know them in personal, are in their phones, in their friends list on their phone. People are changed, they're much different today. It's not like it was going back to the 1990s, where a woman will walk past and nudge your shoulder and smile at you. A lady saying, do you want a lift? Do you want a lift? I can take you down there if you want. And then what would happen is, when that occurs, that lady would start chatting this man up, saying, I'm single, I don't know if you want to have a shag with me, and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes it would pinch your bottom to, attract you. Some people would take it nastily. Some people, if knew it was a sexual looking woman that did it, or whatever, they end up getting into a conversation, saying, why do you do that? And there's, I know what you're up to, love. Let's go for a walk, shall we? Do you want to come back to mine for a cup of tea and get to know each other? It's like that. You don't see that anymore. People are not like that anymore. And where's the great sense of humour gone? GHOS or whatever it is. No, I can't remember. Great sense of humour. Where's that gone now? You don't see that on a dating site. The last time I saw people using great sense of humour as their accent or personality is actually 2008. Since that time, that's not been used on any dating site. And it's like I mentioned with prostitutes, you can't get a prostitute. They don't give sex in the UK. It's just blowjobs, and they're not happy about doing that. In other countries, you get a better selection. So, safe sex is basically where you're using a condom, and they're charged about $2 or $3 grand for safe sex. But if you want raw hardcore sex, XXX18 or whatever, you know what they call the rough hardcore or whatever, you know, the proper sex, you're looking at double. So you're looking at 6,000 to 8,000. So and that's just for like one night, you know. And people like me don't have that sort of money. So, you know, it's very different today. It really is. Many people told me I should lower my standards. But the thing is, even though people told me to lower my standards to try and get someone, everyone are trying to tell me that I need to higher my standards. So what do you do? Because people are saying you're being too fussy. But I'm not being too fussy. And if you go back to when I was stating stuff and telling my doctor about this and talking to the police, even going back about 15 years ago, whatever it was, the police said there's nothing wrong with what I'm putting on there. They're saying saying as long as you don't sort of moan about you you shouldn't be putting stuff like what's happened to you as a child or stuff like that. But you know, they were telling me that asking for a single lady that is good looking and that who is not a single parent yet, there's nothing wrong with that. But you know, on dating it seems to be a problem. They're trying to tell you that you're supposed to be with a single mother, whether you like it or not. And some of them are saying that because you're over the age of 40, we don't have a sexual relationship. We're just in a relationship, but we don't have the sex. You can't win. These people are just so fucking stupid today. You just can't. This is why I don't have anyone. At the same time, I'm suppressed all the time, and I'm thinking of new ways to think of how to find someone, but you just can't do it because people are stupid. I mean, but just a couple of years ago, I've seen foreigners, you know, with big massive age gaps, you know, people as old as me nearly, you know, with people in their early 20s, but it doesn't happen very often. And finding someone that's going to allow that age gap who's not a single mother, because everyone seems to be a single mother over the age of 30, is literally going to be almost impossible. But it's partly the government's fault, or the Creator God's fault, for all this initial force against me, that's diverting me, forcing me in one direction out of another direction, causing havoc, and making every day a fucking difficult issue to get past around things. And I've had to battle through forces or setups or control around me on many occasions. That's also the cause of stopping me get anyone. So how are they going to replace it? They're not going to replace it. Their fucking way of saying they're going to replace it is, you're being fucking shot dead, we're going to rip you to fucking pieces in your next life, we're going to make sure that you're sexually abused, we're going to play with you on a fireplace using poker sticks and make you fucking burn in fucking hell. That's their answer to everything. So the people that set this organised force up against me are just crooked. Right, I just want to mention something, and I think this goes back to 2021, I'm not sure. I know it's no, it might have been it was when I was 40. I was 40 years exactly, and I thought, this is my last chance, last year I'm going to possibly find a sexual person if I do find someone because of my age. So I was in a bit of a shitty mood, and people were starting on me on that specific day, and it was in the time period of when things were kicking off, when you could have up to 40 to 140 threats or 150 threats per day, and same for people coughing and sneezing in my face. Maybe some days it reached 300, and then obviously also for people photographing me while out and about, mistaking me as Savannah or Liam to get me killed. So while all this is going on, and most days it was at least 40, and the average would be over 100 every day for a 9-month period when all the trouble was kicking off. So you could see where I was coming from. I wasn't very happy. So when I went to this coffee morning, I was openly talking about being sexually abused as a child. I didn't say who did it, or the people that did it, or if the people are still alive today or dead or whatever. But I just sort of mentioned that, and I mentioned that, you know, and I've been to church and things are getting worse since I've been praying to God, no sex, and I mentioned this and that, and the fact that when I'm born again I'm going to have to be sexually abused as a child before I get someone, without ever having sex in this life or my previous life, because of what a clairvoyant told me about my last life. So, it's all blue murder at the moment. So when I was talking to him about that, I was being polite-ish, I wasn't going too far-fetched with what I was mentioning. And he just sort of joked with me, saying maybe Jesus can be your partner. End of conversation. At that stage, I think I just went out. But I was polite. I did say I'll be back again, as I've got to go. So I pretended to get the phone out, as if I needed to speak to someone, and I left. Jesus can't be my partner, because Jesus Christ has been in a sexual relationship with Mary Magdalene. When Mary Magdalene was 9, 10 or 11 years of age, and Jesus was in his early 20s, they got in a sexual relationship. They had 2 children. How am I supposed to follow a Messiah that's enjoyed sex with a female under legal age, possibly, if this information's true, that is? Even if that information isn't true, he's still been in a sexual relationship with Mary Magdalene, and they've both enjoyed sex. Take into account, I'm known as a sick cunt if I look at anyone under the age of 35. And someone a couple of years ago told me this on social meeting page, and she basically told me you're not supposed to read anything at all or look at anyone if they're only the age of 35. Did you hear that ha 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 sound from that animal? And they're like ha 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 ha. So basically I ended up ripping the Bible up, and that's it. And I stopped going to church, as I've been mentioning. But for this bloke to tell me that you have to go with Jesus, it's too late, because Jesus Christ is already in a sexual relationship, and he'd be violating his girlfriend if he goes in a relationship with me. And also Jesus Christ is a man, not a woman. And another thing is, how can I follow Jesus Christ to go to heaven if Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven according to Christianity? And the reason I say this is because I'd feel really ill. I'd feel sickened if I had to follow someone to go to heaven who's enjoyed sex with a sexual partner when you've been stopped from getting that sex all your life, when the only sex you've had is actually being sexually abused as a child. Or those who have had minimal sex, that haven't had a decent amount, if they have had sex, it will affect them as well. So how can you follow Jesus if that's the case? It makes you feel, you just can't. And the other thing is, in the Bible, the Holy Bible, it mentions that masturbation is a sin before marriage. And also it says you must rejoice with your wife at your youth. Or it just says you can rejoice at your... But the problem is, you've got your 20s, and you've got your 30s, and then you've got your 40s, and that's the age group I'm in. So quite simply, this and many other passages is why I've turned against Christ. And also, there's another load of information. Jesus said to the 7, or something like that, go on, do that, girl, go on, because there's going to be no sex in heaven, you see. So Jesus told these people to have sex with these girls on earth, because you're not going to get it in heaven, because there's no sex in heaven, because you're immortal beings, or something like that. Would that mean you've been sexually hanged and you can't be compensated when the damage that's done? You've had your wrist cut, if that's the case, when it comes to sexuality, because Jesus can't repair it. If you go to heaven, it's got to be dealt with. It's got to be dealt with on earth before people die, those who've been sexually abused and not had anyone. So obviously that's why God's turned as well. There's nothing you can do about it. People won't allow the age gap. Everyone's a single mother. They moan about the colour of your skin. There's nothing you can do about it. It would be more helpful if you could fancy people, but the problem is most people in my age group, if they are sexual looking, they're taken. They're married with 9 children or whatever. That's the problem. And all the mentally ill people, they've been taken. You're only left with those disgusting looking types. And they're uglier looking and rougher skin and more disgusting looking than probably everybody that sexually abused me as a child. And older. I don't think that's a fucking fair justice. I think this is taking the fucking piss. But if God wants to fall, let the bastard fall. But I would go to war with him on sexual grounds at the end of my life, because I would never forgive him. When it comes to single mothers, I just want to mention a few things of occurrences that have occurred on dating sites. I've been told, don't you ever fucking ask a woman as a single mother to go in a relationship with you or stuff like that. But take into account, you're unaware of this, and I've been told that the ex-husband doesn't want you to go with me because I'm a single mother, and my ex-husband is worried that you're going to touch my children, and saying he'll fucking smash you out on the street or he'll put a fucking knife in you and really fucking he'll kill you. So basically it's like that. And also many have said that I don't want you around my kids when it comes to single mothers, even if they're only like a baby or 1 year of age. When it comes to these dating sites, they say you have to go with someone that's not a single mother, which I told them I agree with that. Some of them just say you're fucking sick, even if you put that. I mean, this is what it's been like on dating sites, and I spent thousands for all this abuse and being threatened to be knifed and killed and whatever over the last 20 years, and I've still not gotten anyone. Even moving on to prostitutes, they don't give you sex. In the UK, they only give you blowjobs. You have to go to a different country if you want proper sex. I mean, I'd prefer to have raw sex, proper hardcore, like it was when I was sexually abused as a child. So it's an insult in some ways if they're telling you to have safe sex with a condom on. But I'm not going to keep going on about this subject, because I now want to talk about the setups that occurred. So back on this road initially, there's a black and blue car time, followed by a grey car, a sexual looking knife-shaped car at the same time, then a black and blue car and 2 red cars. And now I'll let you know what the setups are at the roundabout. Right, so you've had a police car timed and a jail looking, then a rough person with a beard is threatening to break in, saying that you're Savannah when that's not my name. Then you had a van with several horses on it, a picture, a hamster clapping its hands, but in a way where it looks like it's coal tickle, a dead hamster, and the way they designed it is done in like a specific way. And obviously a couple of sexual cars. In actual fact, a man, a rough type person, actually let me go in front of him when I crossed the roundabout, believe it or not. I was quite surprised at that, because most rough people that look like this person in the car don't usually flash their headlights to say that you can cross the road. But on this occasion I did. So I said, I said alright, and nodded my head. And, when we got to this road, believe it or not, there hasn't been any vehicles yet. So that's very, very rare. This is the first one now. It's a black gun looking car, unfortunately. But one car is quite incredible, to be fair. Your average was only 2 or 3, mind, for this time in the evening, going back to November last year. So it does make sense, and that's white. Right, so there's a few things I want to mention. Right, so initially there was a white van that was tied at the rugby club being choked out by a catalytic converter, and a black gun looking car from behind following the direction I'm walking, and then you had an Amelia van, spelled A-M-E-L-I-A, I think, and AIM can also be short or plural for Amy. But I just want to mention something else. There's 2 bikes tied in a direction straight after that. So anyway, this Amy, because of what I'm mentioning on this specific documentary, I can only say the first name, because I don't want to cause trouble or get in trouble, because I'm going a bit deeper in what I want to say than I usually do when I mention her name on other videos. It's alright to be on other videos, but it's not alright when I put it on this one, so I can't say the surname. So basically, she knew me when she was about 5 or 6, and I used to go outside and play or whatever, and she had other friends here and there, so I would have been 8 or 9, something like that. But she didn't know me for that long, and that was the end of it, basically. She was also the only female friend that I actually had in my whole life as well, up until I knew Lisa Pike later on at school. So yeah, anyway, I didn't see her that frequent, and after a while she said, I don't really like you because I like Mike now, which was a friend that lived a couple of doors where she used to live before she moved over the other side of North Peverton. But obviously, just supposing she did like me, it would be too late to go with that specific lady, because one, she's a single parent and obviously been with many people, and one, she's gone into negative attraction. Two, she's gone into negative attraction now, because obviously she's only a few years younger than me, if not only just a couple. I'm not sure how many years it is. So I saw her again when my Uncle Rob went to deliver some furniture back from doing a job many years ago. So this would have been about 1997, maybe. I can't remember the year now, but it was definitely in a time period where I was either still at school or only just left. Anyway, I saw this Amy again, and I was looking at her in a friendly way, and she just shouted up, said something. I couldn't remember what it was, but it was really nasty what was said, and it had swearing to it. I moved to North Peverton in 2001, 2001 I think it is. And the year I moved there, she had a brother called Callum who came up to me when to speak, and then I found out when he came up to speak, because he was only a child at the time, and when he started speaking he started mentioning Amy, and I said, is that the same Amy I used to know? And then I started speaking a bit more, but never got to the point where I ever saw Amy or anything like that. However, I don't have nothing to do with her, and I don't care. But I've never had sex with her or anything. So how she looked like is very similar to the American singer actor called Gabby Borges in America. However, Gabby Borges, when she was a bit younger, had a more of a sort of look to Amy, because Amy sort of held that look out up until the age of about a few years ago, where she went from like a sexual looking type straight into sudden negative attraction in such a very short period of time, which doesn't usually occur that quickly, but it can with some people, and I've known it to occur with other people as well, in just 3 years, if that. Where you can have smooth skin one day, and the next day it look like you've got rashes all over you. So it depends how the body works and how quickly you age. But anyway, she reported me for something that I put on the internet on Facebook to the police, because it contained information. And because I was in a shitty mood that day, I was saying that this person's been in lots of relationships with all my enemies and so on. But that's the only thing I did that was bad. The other stuff that I mentioned was all the setups that were bringing up the suggestion of Amy at that time. These setups after that time period suggesting Amy died out until we came out of the lockdown. And when all this organised force became a lot more heavier and more constructed and whatever else, after we came out of all the lockdowns, they're suggesting this Amy all the time. They're going off the scale with it. But before that, it did die out, the setups or suggestions. Anyway, I told the police that I have not had sex with this Amy, and I told the police that if she wants to moan about the situation, we can get all her friends and the people that go to the Palace nightclub involved as well. And I said, I got all the evidence of audio recordings and threats, and I said it's in the thousands. So I got a bit funny with the police, because I said, and you've got to take into account I've not had no one yet. So the police sort of said, oh, you're fucking stupid, are you? Sort of went like that. And so, well, all we can do is try. And so we can't guarantee it. And then obviously after that, they said as long as you don't mention anything when it comes to sexuality with that specific person, you know, or whatever, it should be alright. We're trying to calm this person down because these people are not the friendliest, you know. They didn't put it that way, but that's the sort of the suggestion that I was getting the feel of what it suggested. You know, some people are just not the type of people, and they just don't give a care about anybody, and sort of, you know, just want to, you know, so it's a bit like that. So then obviously later on in 2015, 2016, we had governmental issues where I got in trouble for posting stuff to Downing Street and leaving messages on their answer machine and all the rest of it, which included the occasional suggestion when Amy was still suggested, but it was very rare. But it was in that time period. Mostly. Actually, no, hang on. It was. No, it would have been in the same time period, actually. Yeah. And then obviously you had that as well. Right, so between Amy and Lisa, which are the two females that I've known who've, you know, the only two sort of kind of friends I've had, with Lisa mostly. So let's give some details about their interests. But I'm not going to go into too much because I don't want to cause trouble, but I just want to give some surface information, like what would be on public settings, for example, on Facebook, just to give you some idea that my sort of interests don't follow the same interests of what they're into. Where Amy's into hardstyle, happy hardcore, rave. I think she likes old school, but she doesn't like the jungle stuff, which I'm into. She's into like the stuff like the piano stuff, or the 1992, or the old school that they play, the commercial stuff basically. And I don't think it even touches the jungle area either, any of her music. So she's not going to like my sort of music. Lisa, I don't think she goes so much into the rave scene as such, but she's into sort of songs, possibly rock maybe. It's hard to say. Again, I don't look at these people's Facebook channels. I've been on both of those channels, both Lisa's and Amy's, for less than 15 minutes out of every time I've been on there. 15 minutes in total. You know, that's in total, not just, you know, on one session, out of when I've looked at their Facebook channels since I've been on Facebook. So it's not a frequent thing I do. I used to block people, you know, years ago on Facebook. Well, I stopped doing that anymore. I just can't be bothered with it. But anyway, as far as celebrity gossip and all that goes, Amy and Lisa follow the same routes there. There's two different things I want to say about Amy. Where Amy is one of those sort of beautiful, outstanding models, you know, those blonde, sexual looking types of people with soft skin and whatever. Lisa would be the opposite, the one that's not so sexual, but they still follow similar interests and way of life in some ways. Where Lisa's more into like caring for people, like in old people's homes or whatever, Amy would be more into different types of work. I'm not sure what work she'd be into. A different way of life. I think she drives, you know, she did have a moped. I don't think Lisa drives, can't guarantee that. But they do share similar interests, where my interests are sort of way out to both of those people. So it just goes to show that whether it's a sexual looking person or a person that's not sexual looking, interests can be the same for the same type of person, you know, where for me it would be a bit different than both of them. Because apart from in recent times where I've been going to the bar, I've not really been that sort of person. I mean, since I started doing this, going on holiday several years ago, about a decade ago, I started going to bars and that. But near enough from the earliest time I started going to bars, and there was one time I went into the Globe on Christmas Eve, I think it was, going back in 2002 or 2003, at North Peverton, when I got pissed, which I should have done. No, I went to have a beer or something. But all in all, I don't really, or have not really socialised in many bars. However, it has been here and there throughout my life. More recently, especially in the last 2 to 3 years, and on holidays in the last decade. It's been difficult socialising, as I was mentioning earlier on this recording, because so many people always started on me time and time and again. You know, glasses ended up going across the room, chairs being thrown about, windows being smashed, you know, it's all that sort of behaviour. So that's why I've sort of tried to avoid these places. It wasn't really until 2015, 2016 area again, which was when it felt safer to take the risks, but people were still starting and I still had to walk out these places. This is why when I went to go to Tesco's and I saw this Lauren, and she saw the scene and knew that I wanted fun and she wanted to give that fun, that they were going to cause that to mess up, where enemies were walking down the aisle directly at me, getting nasty, and that's what caused, you know, this Lauren to not like me or to avoid me on future times, and ending up in a relationship or whatever, being, you know, having 2 ginger haired boys and going with this person called Mike or whatever. And there's been so many different things. And then you've got this Heather, which is also a clairvoyant prediction. I walk into her, yeah, and what happens when I walk into her? I go to say alright, and what happens? These 2 rough people started getting nasty, threatening to smash me in, and they knew this lady, and they were mistaking me as civilian. It was when the civilian threat came in, that this, in the earliest of time period of when it came in, it all fucking kicked off. So that went through. If it was a clairvoyant prediction that was supposed to occur. Right, so far you've had a load of loud bikes tied to erections, sheep sound to say sick several times, a bird says break in your house just. Right, so you had a 10 times loud bike that's revved older Justin now, and that's sort of near enough that way. Then you had a black and blue car timed and grey white. Right, so there's been 7 more loud bikes timed to erections. Someone says you're being fucking shot dead from a house window. A black and blue car timed, grey car and white, and then blue car, 2 white cars. Right, so you've had a couple of issues I want to mention. Right, so yeah, a bird's been saying sick cunt, bust your place, cut your wrist, repeatedly several times, and a few other things, but I can't quite make out what the voice sound is. But you know, whatever God's doing is being done to be fucking nasty. Some cattle made some noises in the in Treacle Farm, and it came out in the same sort of sound pattern as Well Beloved, the track called Immortal on 7th Story Projects Recordings, which was released in 2013 on an EP called The Dark Hearts. Halfway through that track it has like cult samples, and it says your soul is falling or something like that. So it's a jungle track, made in the old school style to sound like it came out in 94, 95. Where there's a couple of sounds that occur in that part of the track where they and the cattle made identical noises, rattling around in a cage or wherever it is they are, as that track. Right, so you've had a car trying to smash me in exactly the same place as yesterday, in fact. Then you had a van saying Rover on the side of it. Not really very suggestive, but when it comes to ISO temp van, and a van saying Sexy's School, so that's Sexy's, same as like sex, SEXY S, and then it says school. That's like a white minibus type vehicle van. I didn't really take much notice, with white colouring reddish type writing that says that. So after that, he had a black and blue car. I can't remember what it said on the side of this van. It's a new van name. Nulik, N-U-L-I-K, something like that. And then obviously I had a couple of cars after that. Again, I can't remember what the colours were. And then coming up here, there was just one car today coming down before I came into this area. So, yeah. As sad as it may sound, well, I say it's sad because obviously I've not had anyone in my whole life, but I've actually entered or gone into an air raid shelter before, and I've witnessed people having sex. And I'm telling you now, when I saw this, I was not very happy back in 2008 when I was walking the canal. So obviously this girl was about 10, shagging a bloke about 18, maybe a bit older. But obviously back in those days, you know, people were a bit more funny. And the other thing I want to mention is, I don't know if I mentioned it on other videos, I was walking to the carnival, well not the carnival, but to go to my dad's. Again, same time period. I'll just smoke this a sec. And there's a real hard bloke, a rough bloke in his 50s, next to the waterfall down where the canal was, on the Bridgewater and Taunton Canal. So this was between North Newton and Bridgewater. You've got like an area where you can have a picnic or go across and sit over in a little waterfall where the water drops out. It's not a waterfall, but you know, water drainage into the thing next to the lock. And then you've got like a row of trees. I think it's 2008 I was there. I've mentioned this on other videos, and I mentioned it back in the time when it occurred, in my Deep Depression life story pack. But I saw a really rough, hard chap in his 50s, fucking a girl aged about 10 or 11. But she could have been a bit older, I don't know. But that's the appearance that she gave, that she was that age. And do you know what she did? She threw a load of things at me in sticks, and I was sort of getting out of the area quick. And she said, "You fucking grassy up, you're fucking dead." Because she was protecting the bloke. The bloke, however, he didn't want to show his face. He didn't go after me. And I found that rather odd because, you know, if someone's going to go after you, the girl was doing it. So I was very pissed off about that as well. Just a few years later, a clairvoyant predicted that I was going to get a girlfriend called Chloe at North Petherton Carnival. And I put it all over Facebook at that time, because it was in the time period when I had Facebook. And what happens? The night the carnival was supposed to be on, they took it off because there was a fuel explosion on the M5 motorway, meaning they had to cancel North Petherton Carnival when I went to walk to my dad's on that day, because that's what I would have done. And the clairvoyant told me that's when I was going to go into walk into Glow, and said, "You can end up getting together." And I think I know who she means as well. And she's a very sexual looking person, similar looking to Gemma Ferguson, but smoother skin and slightly younger, maybe. I don't know, but going back in that time period, I was a lot younger, and people didn't moan about age gaps like today. So, I just thought I'd mention that. Talking of clairvoyance, I'm pretty sure the clairvoyant... The thing is, I got into this vodka drinking, right? And my life's going downhill, so I thought, fuck it, you know. And now I've got to get off of it because people are complaining about me drinking vodka and whatever every night. Well, I got a little bit pissed and I decided to pay for an online clairvoyant reading, which I've already mentioned, which is about 4 weeks ago I had it, something like that. Well, she said about me going into a relationship with a partner just around the corner, and she said it can't fall through. So I had a bit of a disagreement with her to say that other clairvoyants have said the same thing. But, so how can I guarantee this is going to come true? And she thinks it is. But when she said this, she said around the corner. That could mean a couple of days, a couple of hours, a couple of weeks, but certainly no more than a few months. Obviously, you've got to allow that time period, but I'm pretty sure that's through, whatever she's predicted. So I'm not happy about that, but, you know, it is only a reading, can't take it for granted. But it'd be helpful if there was a partner, because obviously... you know, every man is entitled to sex. Even the Holy Bible said it. But, you know, if God wants to stop me getting anyone, then continue, because I should get nasty with God after my death, when I'm in spirit. Going back to 2012, 2013 area, when they had all this Illuminati conspiracy stuff and terrorist stuff on YouTube, I was watching these videos, and some of these Freemasons were saying, just enjoy your life with your partner and all the rest of it, and don't worry because the Illuminati's made up, and saying, and people were like putting on Facebook and YouTube, I'm just going to enjoy my life, I got my girl and all the rest of it. So everybody went out of the conspiracy stuff. But the problem is, they forgot about me, didn't they? That's the problem. So when all this went on, these Freemasons started ignoring my messages, which is interesting, and didn't even reply or deleted my comments off, or did things like that, you know, back in the time when all this occurred, you know. So that's interesting, isn't it? And then they're claiming that there's no higher degrees than the 33rd degree Mason or whatever, so, you know, and they said that the Freemasons are decent people, and I don't believe that, you know, because there are Shriners and Masons and they worship different gods. Lucifer is one of them. I went to church for that 3-year period because I was coming up 40. I started this when I was it was just before I hit 40. It started when I was at my nan's, and that's when these YouTube videos coming on these rapture dreams. I started worshipping Jesus. I give God a chance to find me someone before it's too late. But now I'm 44 nearly. My life just got worse and worse when I went to the church, as I was mentioning earlier. So, you know, that's why I've given up on it. You pray to God, and all you're getting is voice sounds from animals or suggestions, making ha-ha, telling people to smash me in, telling me I'm going to be molested in my next life, telling me I'm not going to get anyone in my next life, telling me I'm going to be bit by a dangerous animal, or fucking paralysed by venom, or get murdered in my next life, or whatever. So, you know, if God can only do that, then it does make you wonder. So, to be honest, the only person you can really worship is Aleister Crowley, because you've got to worship, you know, maybe that's the creator God. Creator God's son, I don't know, but, you know, who said he had to be good, like Jesus? Because I'm speculating things there, because I'm getting pissed off of it, because, you know, I've had a bit of vodka, and, you know, no matter what you do, life just doesn't get better, it just gets worse and worse every day. So this year hasn't been too bad initially, but things are starting to kick off now, and when you go to these bars, or these nightclubs, I've been kicked out of Chicago Rock in Yeovil for smoking a few seconds before I walked out the door. And another time was because I was filming myself listening to Chase and Status. I can't remember what the track's called, but it had an Aim and Break jungle sound to it. It wasn't a great track, but it was a good track with, you know, that break in it, which you know, is in all my jungle tracks in the 1990s. You know, and thought that's good. I got in trouble for that, and obviously he told me I can't come back. So basically what he said is this: come with me. He said, just come with me. I said, come with me, out here, now. And then after that he said, I'm sorry, but we don't allow smoking in there. He says, you're going to have to go. You're going to just have to go. You can't come back. You've got to go. You've got to go. You can't come back. And that's the end of that. I sent an email to see if I could go back, and unfortunately said, no, if you've been kicked out, you've been kicked out, you can't come back. Simple as that. So I've been to the 94 Club a couple of times, and there's quite a peaceful atmosphere in there. Most people are decent. Rougher people, obviously, but then again, you've got to take into account most of the people in Chicago Rock were like teenagers, people in their early 20s. They were kissing and cuddling. They had a condom machine in the toilet area, and someone tried kicking the fucking door down in the fucking toilet area, thinking I was Saven. And then I got in trouble for that initially, but another person, who's a rough type person in his 20s, was saying that someone trying to kick the door down. This is the first time, not the second time when I had that fag. And they tried accusing me, security tried accusing me, and said, is it this man here? Not bastard, he said man, he didn't use swearing. Obviously that person said, no, it's not him, it's someone else that's in there that's doing it. And then obviously I didn't get in trouble because it wasn't me, but he said I could stay on that specific night, but you can't do any filming whatsoever at all. And then the following time I went there was also like on my own, and then that was the end of it. He said you can't come back, so that's a good way to socialise. But the problem is I've been to the Mind and they're all munters, you know, can't find anyone there. And you know, some people don't want relationships, and this is how it goes for Tabitha. She's half sexual looking, she's not the bestest looking of people, but good enough to fancy to some extent, and she's just 2 years younger than me. But she says she wants to be single and she doesn't want a man, and she's staying like that for the rest of her life. So pointless there, and all the others like really the ugly type, the type I can't take to. So unless there's any new people, but the problem is everyone's moaning about the age. It is interesting to say that Gemma Ferguson has the same accent as this Tabitha that I was speaking to. She speaks in the same way, same accent. But like I said, she doesn't like me, and later on she wouldn't speak. When it comes to this Emma, this person I can't say his surname to, but I knew her at Avalon School. She spoke to me for a while, but then obviously she said that she doesn't remember me and to stop speaking to her. And also, although she's 1 year older than me, 2 rough people went to start on me, I think it's in the year 2022, to smash the fuck into me, saying that you shouldn't be fucking speaking to ladies that age, you fucking sick cunt, and threatened to smash me out right there. So this Emma said, what the fuck are you now doing? What are you doing? What's going on? And you know, so that was on one occasion, and then she slowly started to go against me, and said I was Savannah, and basically got a bit funny and said, I don't know you, don't speak to me, I don't want to speak to you, I don't want to fucking see you again. So I appreciate what she said, because she doesn't remember me, you know. I can't, you know, start a row or anything like that, because you've got to be polite even though people don't like you. And obviously when she sees me, she just totally ignores me as it stands today, and she does actually think I'm Savannah. So, and then we've got this person that looks like a dog that I knew at Yeovil College. Some are saying she's younger. I can't remember the name that this person told me about, that was Christian, but knows this specific lady. So when I was at Yeovil College doing school courses back in the day, she was taller than me, and she looked like she was a bit older than me, but some people were saying that she's a bit younger, saying that you know, she was like 2 years younger than me, something like that, 3 years younger. But she was at the college at the same time, but she was taller than me, she looked older than me. However, I saw her on the train in 2022 when I was doing trips to Weymouth, and I tried speaking to her, but she looked at me as if I was decent. But as it stands today, she doesn't like me, and she's in a sexual relationship, and she's been made a single mother since that time period, and the boyfriend she is with looks a bit younger than her, and is a rough type person, and he's made threats when I've passed her on the very skimpy times that I've seen her. Otherwise I've not seen her since. However, when I saw her on the train, she went to go to the loo. Someone about 20 threatened to smash me out when I get off the train because they didn't want me speaking to this person, saying I'm really sick, saying she's only about 20 something, but she's not only 20 something, she's in her 40s, or around the age of 40, which is near enough my age, but she did actually look like she was older than me when I saw her at Yeovil College years ago. I saw her once as well in 2006 area in Bridgewater, going into Boots Pharmacy, and it looked like she was with someone then, but she wasn't a single mother. So you know, and then another bloke who was older, about 50 in that area, late 40s, mid 40s, and he said, you're fucking sick, and you're fucking sick. Yeah, I tell you, I'm going to fucking smash you, the fucking you've lot, you, and started all that crap. So, you know, either way, it's too late for that person as well. And they're the only 2 people I actually know in Yeovil. I don't think there's any other people that I remember that I know from back in this day that are in Yeovil. So, you know, it's an issue. And also, there's one specific lady. I don't really want to say this, to be fair, because I don't want to cause trouble, because this lady doesn't cause any problems. She's mentally ill, she's got someone now, but even she, being a nice person, it could be a neighbour, it could be someone outside, I just can't say because I just don't want to cause trouble. Even she said, you're Savannah, and sort of made a remark, but she's only ever done it twice. You know, and when she's looked at me going back in 22 and 23, she gives that sort of pose, like the grey. There's a track on YouTube called Foundation Truth, and it gives that sort of look, and she gave that sort of look to me every time she saw me. But obviously she's in a relationship today, and obviously that's because she thinks I'm Sven and she doesn't really like me. However, it doesn't bother me too much because she is only basic attraction. She is younger than me, a lot younger, and I think the boyfriend she's got is somewhere just a bit younger than me by about 5 years, something like that. So, like I said, I'm not going to give the name because I don't want to cause trouble, but no matter who it is or where it is or what it is, God doesn't want me with anyone. So God obviously wants me with people that sexually abused me as a child, and I can't work out why. If God is a loving God, then, you know, being 44 nearly, it's quite literally too late to do anything, because it'd be alright if I could fancy the older type and I could take to a single mother, or someone that's extremely stale and extremely used with mistakes that have been made in the past, or someone that's probably got diseases from having sex with many people. But you know, I don't take to these types of people. And if you've not been in a sexual relationship or had proper sex in your whole life, you can't just tell someone that's been sexually abused to go with the oldest possible people out there. That's like telling you to go to the fucking fire of hell and fucking zombie. But you know, if God wants to turn, then he can fucking turn. But I'm not happy about it. Right, the recorder's playing up, so I can't get a say of what I want to say. So there's 8 catalytic converters my way. I want to talk about this track in a minute. And then there's a 9th car that was reversing at me. That's it for setups, and then you had a couple of cars as I reached here, which doesn't usually occur. Right, this is the Anthill Mob 123 Adrian Blunt remix. I've noticed the ice plate sample. It sounds like it says, Christ has turned, and I've never noticed that before, but worth mentioning. So, yeah, I'm just walking about. So yeah, very interesting. Right, I couldn't get to where I wanted to go because the government is setting up the traffic. So there's about 50 cars just trying to go down a road where I've walked down a road just a couple of nights ago, where there's been 1 car or 2 cars. So obviously they need to do this because, but it gets better because just come to fucking pieces t-shirt lookalike. So obviously the government or the creator God wants to tell me that you've got to come to fucking pieces. So if Jesus Christ is a loving God, then they need to rethink, don't they? Right, so just come to fucking pieces. Will you just come to fucking pieces? That's right, will you just come to fucking pieces? Is that the way God treats people, is it? In disguise. Very sneaky. Yeah, so all those cars were black and red, black and blue and sexual. The cunt's possessed. Creator God is possessed. I've lost my pen because God doesn't want me to write stuff down. Yes, have I got a text message? Yeah. I'll just turn my phone on. Yeah. Right. You're fucking corrupt, Christ. You're fucking corrupt, pal. Fucking corrupt. Yeah, I've lost my phone. I've lost my pen. God doesn't want me to write things down. I don't need to write things down, Christ. I'll listen to you, Christ. I'll fuck the guts and out of people that raped me as a child, you nasty bastard. It doesn't matter. I don't need to write things down, Christ. It doesn't matter, Christ. You fucking coarse bastard. Well, there's my fucking gun trying to give up the fucking smoking out the fucking door then, Christ. Yeah. Yeah, go on, curse me, you bastard. I'll rip you to fucking pieces, Christ. You returning my fucking life. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, God doesn't want me to fucking do anything. God wants to curse me. The bastard satanically fucking buckled. The cunt has fallen, alright? The cunt's fallen. Yes, sir. God doesn't want me to write stuff down. I don't need to write stuff down. No, I will accept people that raped me as a child as my boyfriend, Christ. You twisted fucking homosexual buckled cunt creation. You fucking twisted cunt. No, I'll accept that, Christ. You're fucking paying for this, pal. You are fucking paying for it. But I'm going to burn in the fire of hell, Christ. In my light of my night. Of my death, Christ, you bastard. You absolute bastard, Christ. You coarse bastard. You stupid bastard. You small-minded bastard. bastard, Christ. You fucking hell-bent bastard, Christ. I'll tell you what, Christ, I will burn. I tell you, I'm happy about it. I will burn in the fire of fucking hell, Christ, you fucking twisted cunt. Right, so the evil bastard creator God is pushing me to go home. Yes, I need to go home, but the thing is, he's pushing me home. Why do you want me home, Christ? So quick. Why? You fucking buckled cunt. And why do you want to tell me that you're going to fucking burn me, Christ, you fucking buckled bastard? You fucking sexual slaughter cunt. Explain that, you crest bastard. You fucking possessed bastard. Well, like I say, I'm going to buy a bottle of vodka. The bastard's not going to... I can't stop drinking why the creator God's fucking treating me as a sick bastard. Just ripping me to fucking pieces with his fucking works of fucking evil creation. Cold ice bastard. Fucking tear away. Fucking tear apart. The cunt's paying for this. I'm not going to let this go, Christ. You little bastard. Yeah, I've already got pulled muscle in my leg. It doesn't matter. I'm trying to fucking go in your direction, Christ. You fucking cunt. Yeah, the cunt wants me destroyed, right? Yeah, I'll come to pieces, Christ, you fucking evil bastard cunt. I'm trying to fucking come apart, Christ. Just fucking come to fucking pieces. Yeah, your fucking creation, God. Fucking twisted cunt. You evil bastard. Yeah, sorry about this, but God's just fucking treating me like a fucking piece of shit. Just come to fucking pieces all the fucking time, innit, God? You won't come a fucking part. So yeah, I took all my fucking backy out, by the way, in a fucking mood. So I've got to go and buy some backy. And I'm buying a bottle of vodka to go with it, because there's no way I'm going to fucking be happy, because Jesus just will not fucking stop ripping me to fucking pieces, cunt. It's got to be done sly, it's got to be sneakily. The bastard wants me to come apart. Jesus would just not stop it. The power of Jesus has got to rip me to pieces. He wants to fucking impale me in the throat and throw me on the fucking stake of fire and suck the guts in and out of me and stop me getting sex all my life. The bastard can't help it. The bastard's fucking possessed. The bastard is a tearaway. The cunt is an ice-axing cunt. He's just a cruel bastard that's going to fire stake me and burn me and roar flames at me, Christ. You crest bastard. You sex slaughtering cunt. This is the work of Jehovah. Yeah, Jehovah, that fucking demon. Yahweh, Allah, Jah, Yah. Yeah, Christ. I'm sorry about that, but the thing is, yeah, there's no need for the Creator God to literally take the fucking piss. God is just trying to do everything he can to rip me to fucking pieces with the works of his spastic, fucking evil, buckled, hell-bent fucking creation. Sexual slaughter, tearaway, fucking cunt. Yeah, so obviously I lost my temper a little bit, because obviously God will not stop it, you see. If you pray to God, that's what I did in the churchyard. I prayed to God and everything went fucking wrong. Every time. And this is why I kicked the fucking thing, which is a piece of shit on the floor, plastic. You know, God would just not fucking stop it. This is the problem. You fucking pray to God, and he's going to put every fucking curse in your fucking path to rip you to fucking pieces, or rip me to fucking pieces, should I say. Now he's fucking causing me to get achy legs, and also I've got to use a fucking phone torch, which I can't fucking see properly, because I left it in the graveyard. My legs are... I can't be bothered to go back to the graveyard, you see. The bastard's cursed me. The cunt is absolutely insane. The Creator God is just a nasty, nasty bastard. Cold ice and fire staking. Nothing else you can say about it. Jehovah, Yahweh, Allah, Jah, Jesus Christ. Just absolutely fucking crest. I've already fucking done documentaries earlier. Jesus would just not fucking let go. The bastard's got to tear me to pieces. The bastard's got to see me as a fucking... got to treat me... This is why Lucifer fucking fell, innit? Because the way he was fucking treated, and he's innocent. Yeah. Fuck's sake. Yeah, I'm sorry about all this, but I've had enough of it. You know, all my whole fucking life, every fucking day, the bastard's just trying to get at me, tear me to fucking pieces, and making it clear that it's him that's fucking doing it, not fucking Satan. This is what's annoying me. Is that all the fucking time? You know, God doesn't want me to have anyone. God wants me destroyed. God's laughing at me. God's causing animals. Only Jehovah can fucking do that. Yahweh. Fuck's sake. This is why all these spiritual fucking beings are being ripped to fucking pieces in the fucking hellfire, because Jehovah's fucking evil. You can't do nothing about it. Jesus Christ is just fucking evil. I bet you, these people that have rapture dreams, yeah, or what visions or whatever, that these people go to the fire of fucking hell. Because I can tell you now, Jesus is a sneaky bastard. His own, he gets his fucking children, he causes his fucking children to have rapture dreams, visions, Jesus Christ encounters, and he lets his fucking children play with his other fucking children. So, you know, a 13-year-old can go and fuck 11-year-old, yeah? By the works of fucking mapping them out to cause the two to collide together, giving information that they should be together, of Christian fucking gods. Fuck that piece of shit. When I fucking die, Christ, and my spirit leaves my body, I'll be ripping you to fucking pieces, you cruelty cunt, for what you've done to me, and the way you fucking treat me in this life, and the way I have been treated, as mentioned, and I've got a conspiracy against you, Christ. When I'm fucking dead, pal, when my spirit leaves my body, when I'm dead, Christ, I'm gonna tear you a fucking part, you sexual slaughter fucking tearaway, you ice-axing bastard, you burning, staking cunt. Yeah, you went too far, Christ. You've gone too far tonight. When I'm trying to sort of give out the drink and give out the smoking, and the bastard, as soon as I pray to Jesus, the fucking hell breaks loose with all these fucking problems occurring. I already made a conspiracy about this earlier, but I thought I'd give it one more try, yeah. Okay, Christ, I understand now. I understand that you're the fucking evil. Right, is that understood? And I bet I'm going to get the evidence. Any problems when I'm walking back, or got to go to the 24-hour garage now because of the way you treat me? Any trouble, pal? This would be fucking on YouTube, pal. Okay? And I'll get the evidence of you being a nasty, nasty bastard. You little cruel cunt. I'll let it go. I just want to get the evidence now, because I want to stay calm. So obviously Jesus... Fucking hell. What? So Jesus Christ has just caused a car to smash into me nearly. So let's get the evidence, and I'm going to be calm, because I want to get my say. And I want to be chilled out, and I want to show you what a nasty piece of shit Jesus Christ is. So we're just going to go with the flow, get the evidence, leave this on record at times and see what happens. No, I've fallen, Christ, because I'm not going to be treated like a piece of shit, insulted, and be taken to fucking pieces. Anyway, I will mention something. I did try going to the bar again, but I was reminded by the Layla Turner band that what happened the other day, and I forgot about that. So I decided no, because it started getting a bit unhappy, and as I mentioned, not a good idea. So at the moment, I've drank less than usual, and that's probably what's making me a bit irritable, actually, because I'm trying to cut down, but never mind. It's costing me a lot, but I'm going to be getting some shit at the 24-hour, you know. I just can't put up with being treated like a piece of shit, Christ. Every time you pray to God, every fucking time, you pray to God and all these bad things happen. So you're not being funny. God's nearly smashed me to pieces with a car. Yes, I've been drinking some, but I'm stable enough not to run into the road or fall. This is being done in a sly way. A very controlled, sly way, Christ. You want me dead so you can rip me to pieces, Christ. In my next life. It's simple. There's no need for it, Christ. You're a biscuit take. I'm not going to swear, because it's, you know, I've already swore. I've already made my point. But, you know, it's going to look good if anything occurs is extremely bad, or I get threats or anything, or trouble, or setups, isn't it, Christ? But obviously, you, like I say, there's evidence, and you don't like my evidence, Christ. You try and disguise it. Especially when you cause seagulls and animals to tell me I'm going to be whatever, what I said earlier on this recording. Yeah, it's got to stop, pal. I'm getting fed up with it, pal. You've had it in for me since day one, since the day I was born. You were causing your seagulls and crows to go, ha ha ha, oh, ooh, when I was being sexually molested as a child. Yeah, it says it all, doesn't it, Christ? And then I give you a second chance while going to church for 3 years, and my life just gets belted and fucking nasty as ever. So that says it fucking all. Religion is, Jesus is the devil. Lucifer is probably the proper God. Right, what's the reason for the need of my digital audio recorder falling out of the pocket when I trip on a stone, Christ? Explain that. Why don't you want this? Why don't you want me putting what I need to put on YouTube? Why do you need to disguise it, Christ? Why? You sneaky bastard. No, I'm not very fucking happy, pal. You're taking the piss out of me, you're insulting me. You want me to come to fucking pieces, live up to your fucking name time, just in fucking time, serve fucking time. I don't want to start a fucking argument because I'm more fucking... I've lost the fucking way down now. I've got to go down because I can't go up there because the path's collapsing away. And people have been walking, it's making it very difficult, so I'm going to the road. So I'm looking forward to Jesus Christ increasing the setups on the road to rip me to pieces or try and hit me off. So let's go for that, shall we? And then Jesus can laugh in my face and say, I'm going to rip you to pieces in the next life and sex up the guts in and out of you as a child and stop you getting sex, like in this life. Nothing you can do about it, that's Jesus for you. Yeah, I'm getting fed up with it. Wherever the fucking turn-off point is. Right, so I've dropped the digital audio recording device twice. And that's not because I'm pissed, it's because I've got my hands full, because I'm holding different things. And obviously, you know, because like I said, I just want to confirm the evidence that Jesus is trying to fucking knock me off. So the bastard nicely timed a car to smash into me. But that's Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus is love. Jesus doesn't turn. No, Jesus only slightly goes against certain people. And singles are now in the sneaky sly way, so never mind. I don't know why a crow needs to go ha 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 ha, it's funny, but a crow needs to do this, yeah? And a crow needs to say that, ha ha, you're dead. But it's done at a time where I nearly do actually get hit by a car coming because he doesn't see me on the corner. So what's Christ doing then? Why do you need to do that, Christ? What's so funny about me being dead? With all the stuff that you were saying earlier, like, I'm going to rape you as a baby in your next life, I'm going to rip you to pieces, play about with you in a fireplace with poker sticks, destroy you, fucking destroy you, you're living up to your name time, just in time, just come to fucking pieces. Interesting, Christ. Very interesting. And don't forget this is going on YouTube, pal, so if you want to rip me to pieces, or if I get hit or there's any evidence, this fucking recording will confirm it. Right, so the bastard won't let me fucking cross the road. There's a bike from behind. So I stay on this side, and the car is trying to smash me to pieces. Nothing you can do about it. The Creator God's buckled. The Creator God's just an outright fucking ice-axing, fire-staking bastard that's got that axe through the fucking ice and got that fucking sharp glass and fucking ice right through your fucking heart from the fucking side angle. Right, so the Creator God is trying to buckle my fucking legs up to stop me going to where I need to go to. And the sex-sucking, slaughtering cunt that's fucking thrown the fucking ice through the fucking sharp end of the side angle, through the fucking heart, and they smashed me through with an ice axe. The bastard can't help it, the Creator God fucking buckled. Burning me, staking me, fucking fire staking me, the sexual slaughter cunt. So the bastard's caused another load of shit as I was going past the bridge and that, so nothing you can do about it. The cunt's buckled, the fucking cunt's twisted, fucking hell-bent, corrupt. Right, so obviously we've got Jesus Christ's force against me, so sick cunt being smashed up, double break-ins, everything's lost said. Drain cover hit over to tell me my life's down the drain. That's right, the Creator's buckled. Catalytic converter sense, bonus of motorbike. Nothing you can do about it, the Creator's buckled, the bastard's going to tear you to fucking pieces until the day you die. The bastard's fucking possessed. Jesus Christ is Satan the devil. Right, so the music player, the MP3 player is playing up because Jesus Christ wants to tell me that a loud bike to an erection is more appropriate than listening to music. God doesn't want me listening to music. God wants me to hear a loud bike times to an erection. Just like with these threats. Nothing you can do about it. The bastard's scum. The bastard's fucking possessed. There's a drain cover hit over because God wants to tell me your life's down the fucking drain. The cunt's buckled. The bastard's got it all on the nail. God's responsible if my liver falls out, because obviously it's God that's causing all this shit tonight. That's cursed me with his fucking black magic. So if the liver falls out when I buy a bottle of vodka, he's the bastard responsible, and I'll fucking rip him to fucking pieces in my next life. The Creator God is absolutely nasty. Right, so the traffic flow is heavier than usual, and there's been a couple of sellers, but obviously, like I said, the Creator God wants me to rip me to pieces because the Creator God's buckled and fucking corrupt. Yahweh, Allah, all fucking evil. Jesus Christ, a buckled bastard that's sexually a slaughtering cunt. You can't do nothing about it. The Creator's fucking possessed. The Creator wants you destroyed. He wants to fucking rip you people to pieces in every life they live. That's the works of God. Right, God's fucked up. God is really, really fucked up. Enjoy your life, car. Your life's getting better. Is it? Well, we can fucking start a conspiracy on that fucking one, can't we? Because it's definitely not going to fucking get better. Especially when a sexual car follows that. So maybe God wants to answer that fucking question. So my legs are hurting, so obviously you know what's going to happen next, don't you? I'm not going to be able to walk tomorrow, and guess what else is going to happen? The burning problem is going to increase. Maybe I need to conspiracise that as well, Christ. You nasty bastard. No, you don't want me going anywhere. You want to fucking rip to pieces, destroyed and fucking dead. Because you can't do nothing while I'm living, you bastard, because I've got evidence against you. So you need me dead, so you can, you know, destroy me in my next life, basically. Christ, you sneaky bastard. So what's so funny about seagulls and crows suddenly coming out of an outbreak of ha-ha-ha sounds when a car passes saying Michael the Archangel, which is an angel or God or something like that. Oh, drink over here, over. Oh, very good. So obviously, like I say, God, I don't know, I have to search this out because I don't know much about Michael the Archangel spirit, but anyway, drink over here, over. Obviously, you know, see, God's getting nasty because I won't come to pieces, you see. He wants to put my life down the drain, and he's getting nasty about it. The next few nights t-shirt and a suggestion of murder. We are expo, basically murder suggestion. So let's see what the Creator does over the next few nights, shall we? Since God's telling me that it's going to be nasty over the next few nights. It could be Friday and Saturday and Sunday. There we are, I'm at Loud Bike Park. Right, so I'm not very happy this morning because the burning problem has been starting up again. I was speaking to a Peter neighbour last night, and he says you don't want to give up smoking just yet because it could affect the burning problem. Well, I was speaking to the mental health team on the phone, and I sort of mentioned why I drink and smoke, and I'm more interested in giving up the smoking and the drinking. And was mentioning because I never had a partner and the fact that I can't take to an old granny, and then as soon as I mentioned that, the burning problem increased and it's just worsened. So in some ways what I was saying yesterday, that the Creator is an evil bastard, it's a fire-staking bastard, a burning, staking cunt, well, the burning problem has started.